Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new KID Luffy that has arrived for the worldwide celebration, otherwise known as the global anniversary. And in today's video, we're going to be taking him into some particular pieces of content, doing a little bit of a world tour with this particular character, breaking down what he does, his strengths, his faults, what I think of the character, and sort of seeing how he operates in stuff like arenas, GARP challenges, and like the majority of the content that's sort of floating around either at the moment or as sort of the cycle progresses. So, you guys don't know what this Luffy does. He is available as an anniversary exclusive unit, and he came out alongside a ace character as an ASL celebration. We are still waiting to hear what Sabo's character will be, but I'm sure we'll see that for Treasure Map. But this particular character has a very interesting captain ability and is basically the first of its kind. He boosts cruise attack by 4.75, HP by 1.3, and recovery and tandem orbs are matching. And then, depending on how many accumulative total you have, whether you kill enemies, giving you 1, or passing the turn, giving you 2, you get a different captain ability. When you're at 10 to 19 accumulated values, your captain goes to 5 times with a HP of 1.3 and recovery and tandem are matching. You obtain recoveries with perfects, and you reduce damage by 10%. When you're in 20 to 29 accumulated values, your attack goes to 5.25, your HP is still 1.3, you remove bind by 10 turns, you have recovery and tandem is matching, you obtain recovery through perfects, and you have 15% damage reduction. And when you have 30 turns or cumulative value, you boost the cruise attack by 5.5, HP by 1.3, reduce paralysis and bind by 10 turns, make recovery and tandem slots have matching slot effects, and allows crew to obtain recovery with perfect taps and also reduce damage by 20%. So an absolute mouthful of a captain ability. But the thing about this particular unit is seeing the 30 accumulative value is something that is going to be a pain most of the time. Now, as you guys can see here, we are taking on Arena Franosuke, and I wanted to really showcase getting Luffy's captain ability, namely the bind. Now, with this particular team, I actually stalled 2 turns at the start of the quest. That gives me exactly 30 accumulative value when we get to the final stage. That not only removes bind, but also removes paralysis. The reason I had to do it is basically just to get some cooldowns on Yamato as well, but I really wanted to showcase that in an arena, all it really takes is 2 turns of stall, and you can easily get that 5.5 times captured. So for stuff like arenas, this character can flourish quite well. As you can see there, we hit exactly 30 cumulative value. We are good to go. I wanted to showcase Arena Franosuke because you actually get binded on the final stage as well. So this ability is actually really, really cool. The big deficit I have to Luffy with this ability is if you get despaired first, you actually can't remove the bind, the bind or the paralysis, which is very, very annoying because in his special, you actually remove despair. So if you get despaired first and then you get binded on your captain, you just don't remove the bind, and it's a big hindrance. An upside to the captain ability and the accumulative value is that it actually doesn't get blown away with Haki or Red Haki. Namely Red Haki, which is very, very annoying at removing your accumulative buffs. Well, this doesn't actually count as an accumulative buff. It's an accumulative captain ability, so Red Haki doesn't actually remove that. I actually tested it in the Kid Forest, and I'll have a video up for that for a little bit later. But once you get to the final stage, you actually get Red Haki'd, and you don't actually lose this accumulative buff, which is actually a massive, massive gain for this particular Luffy. If you lost all your accumulative values, it would struggle so drastically. And to get the 5.5 times captain, it does seem like a lot of work, especially when you have Onigashima Luffy or Red Rock Luffy just came out, that literally all you have to do is have a recovery orb and you're a 5.5 times captain. We have the 6+ of Roger where you use his special and you're a 5.25 times captain. Now, most of the time, I feel like with this Luffy, in stuff like Kizuna, in stuff like short content, as you can see here, we are in the 10-star Kizuna stage. You're probably going to see the 10 to the 20 cumulative values. You could definitely stall on these turtles here, get yourself some more turns, rack it up so you can easily make the 20 turns. But in this day and age, it's just not something that you really want to be doing. You don't really want to be stalling out turns and getting those captain multipliers when really, honestly, even when you're from 10 to 19, being at a 5 times captain nowadays is actually quite low, especially for an anniversary exclusive legend. It's actually quite puzzling why they made this so low. Another thing to note about Luffy as well is his attack stat is so ridiculously low. My man has only got 2,076 attack at level 99, limit broken, and has 186 attack cotton candy, which is just mind-boggling to me that the character of this stature, anniversary like exclusive, and a Luffy could have such low stats. I understand, and I know the comment section is going to go absolutely crazy, but Stump, he's a kid. He's a kid. He can't hit very hard. He doesn't know how to use his gun. I get it, but it's a fictional game where we're playing with CGI characters. At least give this man a little bit of attack. Like 2,000, that's lower than rare recruits. Like, it's wild how low his attack is. But look, at the end of the day, his captain ability can be very, very good. It just takes a lot to get him to that particular point. And in stuff like Kizuna, like you guys are seeing here on these 3-stage events, it is a massive struggle to actually get him to that particular point. So in stuff like Super Boss, I do think he's going to struggle as well. He's probably going to struggle in treasure map fights as a captain, but his special could actually save him in that game mode. Now, the reason I say that is because Luffy has an actually very good special. He reduces Crew's He reduces Crew's Despair and attack down by 7 turns, boosts slot effects by 2.25 for 5 turns, and then boosts the chain multiplier by 1.2 times for 1 turn, and if you land 2 perfects, he then boosts it to 1.35 on the next turn, and if you hit another 2 perfects, he increases it to 1.5 on the following turn, and increases slot effects by 0.5. So on the 3rd turn of using this guy's special, you'll have a 2.75 times orb boost, and you have a 1.5 times multiplicative buff to the chain. Again, works amazingly well if you are partnering this guy up with the new Ace. You have some utility. You can easily pop him on a stage where you get attack down or despair, and then for the next 3 turns, you have a very good orb boost, very good chain boost, and that is actually going to carry this particular character in stuff like Treasure Map, and could see some great utility as a sub in Kizuna as well. The downside that I do find to this particular special, though, it's a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because if you want to get the utility, and then you want to get that big buff on the same turn, it's just not going to happen. You have to use 2 Luffys at that point, and that's really the only viability I see to running 2 Luffys, so that way you can get this orb boost, get this chain multiplicative buff, and get that despair and the attack down removal as well. It's very hard to do, but in Revolutionary Army 2, we actually managed to get it done quite well. So I do think he's going to be okay in Treasure Map. He's a Rainbow Captain, remember, too. I don't know if the Rainbow Captain warrants all this crazy shenaniganry to try and get that 5.5 times Captain, because honestly, whenever I'm running this guy, I'm always running him on like a free spirit-centric team. And the reason that I like to do that is because he's actually a super class free spirit. His super class can be activated if you have Ace, Sabo, Garp, Shanks, Markano, Curly, Dadan, or after passing 10 turns. Now, 10 turns is a lot. You don't want to be passing 10 turns. It's just not in this day and age. Like, if you're a newer player, this guy could easily be, like, a lot of fun, because you're sort of playing the game, you're passing turns, you're tanking shots, you have damage reduction, you have healing with recovery. You got it all, right? But for established players and endgame players, like, 10 turns is way too much. And these characters don't have a lot of, like, insane representation. Don't get me wrong. Ace, Sabo, Garp, Shanks all have very, very good characters in the game, but it's actually quite limited. It's not like you're saying, oh, use any of the Straw Hats, right? So there are some good characters in this like pool, but there is a bit of a struggle there as well. His superclass reduces Crew's special charge by 2 turns and extends the duration of the chain lock and chain multiplier boost, except multiplicative boost for 2 turns, and then changes free spirits into super free spirit characters. So again, another counterintuitive thing with this guy's superclass special is that he extends chain boost and chain boundaries, but doesn't extend his own buff, which to me is just so freaking annoying. But there are some really good characters that you guys can bring to help him out. The new Nami from the New Yasugo works exceptionally under this Luffy, because you can extend her chain boost, her insane chain boost. And also the Kizuna Shanks, the free-to-play Kizuna Shanks who gives a chain boundary, is an exceptional sub for this Luffy. Not only does Shanks give chain boundary, but he activates the super class as well. You could also use level limit break Garps, another fantastic option. He also gives chain boundary, he activates the super class. But with Shanks especially, if you're running 2 Luffys, you can actually get access to the super tandem of Shanks by utilizing 2 Luffys. It's actually insane. Shanks requires for his super tandem, like the Redhead Pirates and Luffy, but having 2 Luffys actually equivalates to being the 2 characters that Shanks needs to activate that. So really, really cool thing that I just accidentally stumbled upon when using the character on this particular team, and it was actually something that was really, really cool. But as I mentioned, Luffy does seem quite counterintuitive. Like, his superclass doesn't work with his special. The despair removal in his special doesn't work with the bind if you get binded first, and All of these things really hinder the character. You have to do a lot of work to get the 5.5 times captain. I guess it is Rainbow, and there are great utility options when you actually get to that point, but they do have their deficits, like I said, with the Despair removal, not activating. If you get Despaired, then Blinded, the Blind's not going to activate before the Despair, and you're going to be in for a bad time there. Another really, really negative thing that I found with Luffy is orbs. For a 5-turn orb, or character that gives you an orb boost for 5 turns, the recovery in tandem orb is not enough. There's no way of gaining orbs. There's no increased chance of getting orbs. And it's just, it's a bit of a shame because, for this stage right here, right, we have a 3-turn orb boost, and we have no orbs on the team. We have to bring characters that can rotate orbs and do other stuff like KID and Yamato, which isn't a huge problem. But when you're talking about a self-sufficient, amazing character, a character that can give you orbs and an orb buff is just so much more valuable than the character that can give an orb buff as well. So it's a little bit annoying that Luffy doesn't really do that, and it is a bit of a shame. But as I mentioned, he does have a final tap. His final tap can be used on any stage as long as you have 90% or above HP. And at level 5, he boosts the chain multiplier by 1.75. At level 1, it's 1.15. So basically just increases your chain, but you have to be above 90% HP. Now, most of the time you will see this, but for most long content, you definitely won't. And a big downside I found to Luffy, again, is if you activate his super class, you actually boost free spirit. So therefore, you lose HP, you get below 90%, and you don't have the final tap. All in all, though, utilizing Luffy's captain ability at its max potential, as you can see in long content, he just shines like an absolute god. 66 turns, very easy to get. Can remove paralysis, can remove bind, and he's an absolute powerhouse in that regard. But overall, for an anniversary exclusive, I honestly think this character is really mid, and I have not had a lot of success and a lot of love playing with him. But let me know your thoughts and opinions of the character in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button as well. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.